hold the door for you. Come on. One day, they said, we're going outside, you're going to get in the trucks, we're going to take you someplace. So, all of a sudden, we're driving, and we look out there, here you see these ships. Where the hell are we going? You know? So we put us on these ships. It was cold. You know, to go across the ocean in winter. We thought this was the end, you know? And most of the time the weather was so bad, they kept us below. Everybody was sick, it was dirty, you know, and 5 days we crossed the ocean. But when it did stop, when you started opening up the doors, I said, holy smokes, where are we? And I saw this huge sign, big sign, it said Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. I said, no, we never left the States. Coca-Cola. That's when they told us that we're going to Germany, we're not going to Korea. We will try to make this as nice as we can and as truthful as we can with the memories that I can remember. Because some days I'll be going ahead and I'll think of something, it'll just come to me real smooth. I remember everything. And some days I just can't piece it together all the time, you know? I was born in Chicago on January 21st, 1935. My father was a truck driver, and there was so much snow, I couldn't get a cab to go to the hospital. And my father told the taxi, I'll drive. So he drove, got us to the hospital, got me in there, and I was born in that, you know. And I was a baby. I was a baby, you know. There wasn't not much to talk about, you know, at the time. I lived on Belmont and Kimball. The school that I was supposed to go, Sherry's High School, was with girls in there, and I was not much with girls. I got a girl, I stuttered a lot, and I said, I'm never going to go no place where I'm always stuttering, you know. I wanted to go to Lane Tech because it was an all-boys school. I did get the grades up, and they accepted me in school, but in the meantime, I had to get a job. My uncle was down the street, about maybe 4 or 5 blocks down. He was a butcher at this store. So he got me a job in there, stocking the shelves, produce. I learned how to do all that stuff like that. This manager we had, he was an old timer, and he liked to go ahead in the back and have a few drinks and sometimes fall asleep in it. But he knew I would take care of everything, you know. So I opened the store, had the lights, you know, and then when it was time to close the store, I would go ahead and clean up everything, take the money out of the cash registers, you know, turn the register to open the door and ring the numbers up, you know. Take it in the back there, wake them up like that, and put the money in the safe with that, you know. So one time I was just ready to close, and these 2 guys came in the store, and they want the money. And I said, well, I don't know the combination safe. I'll give you everything what's in the drawer. So he stuck me in the refrigerator. They turned the lights off and everything. So I went ahead, all night long, I moved the boxes back and forth to keep warm. So finally, I don't know what time it was. I heard someone banging on the door, and he opened the door, and it was the police. Things weren't that easy when I was young, you know. My father had passed away. My mother was alone, you know, and at that time, I had to learn to do things myself. My sister was getting older. We only had 2 bedrooms, and I was sleeping on a porch. And then, you know, I think it was time to make a change. I'm not happy with my job, and I said, I know that there's something better I'd like to do. So at that time, I heard about going into the service. And I went ahead, I went down to the draft board. I didn't tell nobody. And I went through the whole physical, the whole day. And I know I had a little bit of flat feet. To make sure that I didn't have flat feet, I walked a certain way, so you didn't notice I had flat feet. Past the physical. everything, and that, and I was so happy with that because I wanted to pass. I wanted to go into service. I said I want to go as soon as possible. So I went home, and then I got a notice, and I had 2 days to get everything together, and I report down to Union Station. I was about 23 years old then, you know. Oh, I was scared because don't forget, we never went no place. We had no car. We never went no place. My first place I ended up was Fort Leonard, Missouri, and 8 weeks of training. And boy, I'm telling you, they put you through hell. 40 in the barracks. We got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go outside there for a roll call to make sure that you're all there. No, if you're all there, you know. Then they would load us on trucks, dump us off there, 20 of us in a platoon, and we had a march. And then, after we marched for a while, then they took us into these different huts to learn how to take weapons apart. At that time, they gave me an M1 rifle that holds 8 rounds of bullets. Never shot a gun before, never held a gun before. To learn how to take that apart, eyes closed. Because you know, if you're out in the field at night and you're being attacked, you had 16 rounds in your belt, 8 rounds in there, and then on top of the rifle, a bayonet. Because we had to learn how to kill. So, okay, what we're going to do is, we got these dummies on ropes, and you're going to run, and you're going to hit that. You had to learn to hit that dummy in a certain spot to kill that person. And then take that, after you kill that person, take that knife and chop his head off. You know? Oh my God. No? At that time, we're killing Germans. Germans. I didn't hate the Germans. I didn't hate nobody. I never hated anybody. I was a kid, you know, to learn how to kill somebody, you know. So my mother was always writing. I should write back these. I could not. I didn't know how to express myself in writing what I seen and what I was doing, you know. Back in the barracks, you only got a half an hour to eat. We go into this mess hall. You'd get a banana, or maybe you'd get an orange, 1 cup of coffee, and this special meal that was in the Army. What the hell is this? It's toast with ground beef and beef gravy, brown, dark brown, and that's what they threw down there. Shit on a shingle, they called it. Shit on the shingle. And that was supposed to be your main meal to hold you all day. So after we ate, the company commander said to me, Ron, he said, I want you to go to this German family in Schweinfurt and show them that American soldiers are nice people. This man was a big shot, like a mayor in Schweinfurt. So they invited me for Christmas dinner. Okay, so I put my dress on. I looked sharp. I was proud of myself. He said, I'm gonna have my son, Wolfgang, pick you up. So we walked in this house, and I met the family. And I was kind of down dumb Christmas, you know, and everything, you know. I tried to be as quiet as I could, as nice as I could, and not say too much then. Before we ate, he went ahead and went, did you ever see a German Christmas? And I said, no. We went and they opened the living room doors, and here was this beautiful Christmas tree with candles on it. I never seen nothing like that there, you know? And that to me, that was like, you know, I couldn't swallow. You know, the tears were in my eyes, you know? And when we sat down, all of a sudden they put this young lady next to me, a very pretty girl next to me. And I said, who is that? There's a good friend of this family and the mother. But Wolfgang translated for me from English into German to his family. I got to talking to Ann. We talked for a while. They were so nice. The food, everything was delicious. You know, the rest of the family, they were so nice to me. Then they took me back to camp. They need so many men to go on KP. They hate anybody from Chicago. And put me on KP, and KP you were washing these pots and pans and peeling potatoes and everything, do all this the dirty work there. One day, a lieutenant came in there and saw my hands, where blood was coming out of my hands because I was on constant KP. Went ahead and sent me to the hospital. So then I became a team leader, and I had 8 men on the team. I had machine gunners. At this time, I could pick what I wanted. So I picked this Indian to be my scout, because Indians were, I knew they had to be the best scouts, you know. Yeah. So I was proud of myself that I'm getting someplace. So we were shipped to California. It's a 2-story building. This was like going in a hotel. And we had to keep this clean. You would polish with your handkerchief the area around there. No dust or nothing like that, you know. And where the officers walk was red. And when he comes in for inspection, you never know where he's going to come. He might come at 5 o'clock in the morning. He might come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you know. You see him coming, you yell, "Attention!" And you'd stand by a Foot Locker like that, you know, and check you out. So the first thing we'd do is take a quarter, toss it on that bunk, and that quarter had to bounce off that bed. If you go to my bed right now, you could bounce a quarter off my bed, right now. Right now, honest to God, it still bounces off there. I still make my bed like that. See what I mean about the bed? I stretch it, you bounce a quarter, and here I fold the sheets like in the army. I put it bounce a quarter up here. I had off this one Sunday. Wolfgang liked me, and he took me into town and walked around like that. And he said, "Would you like to meet the girl? Maybe she could take you around and show you around town, but you have to have a chaperone." So her brother said that he would be the chaperone. So they took us out to the movie theater. And I saw the pictures. I saw Hopalong Cassidy, I saw Roy Rogers, I saw these movie stars. And we went into the show, and it's all the movies were in German. They're dubbed. Can you imagine Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers speaking German? I was amazed, you know, in that. And they got a kick out of it. They liked that, you know. So anyway, I got to know Ann a little bit more, you know. And then I had to go back into the field because we got on the board. All the people that couldn't swim, they raised their hand. So we put us on these ships and that. I had me the one that really stood out the most, because they tied this rope on my belt real tight, and they stood up on his head and they tossed us over into the water. Now if you don't pee in your pants and you don't get a heart attack, you're not real. So I didn't learn how to swim, but I survived that there. Still can't swim. Oh, you know, and I'm going to be 86 years old, you know.
Well, I think you missed the window on that one.
I missed the window on that one. I missed the window. So one day, after a couple weeks, because I was in and out, you know, somehow it was near a holiday or something.
New Year's
invited me to go and visit the rest of her family. And I said, "But you can't wear no uniform." I said, "Well, I have no clothes." At that time, you could not keep no clothes, only uniform. But this one soldier from Georgia had snuck in some clothes. He said, "Well, you take these clothes and you go." A pink coat with light blue pants and that.
No, he had a blue coat.
Light blue coat with light
blue coat and light blue pants.
So they didn't have ice cream at that time in Germany. They didn't have ice cream. They had ice, frozen ice. So I went ahead and I went to the PX and I bought half a gallon of vanilla ice cream. And I had to hurry up and I went a vanilla ice cream. And I went and he picked me up and went to the house. And I said, "Oh, that was a treat to them." I made points then with the ice cream, you know. So finally, a little more than 2 years was up at that time. And I said to Ann that I think that my heart that I love you, and then maybe, you know, that I'd like you to come to the States and maybe be my wife, you know. So at that time, I had to get permission from my company commander. We had to go to the Rathaus at German City Hall. This all had to come together. So my company commander said, "I'll tell you what, I'll marry you." Gave me an army wedding. with all my platoon and all the soldiers. They made coffee and cake, no beer, and I brought Ann. It was amazing. I just was praying that I could support her and make a living for her and I have a family. Always kiss before you get up in the morning. We still do it. We do that. And we go to bed at night. I give Ann a kiss in the morning and when I go to bed at night, you know. We don't sleep together because she watches television all night and I can't sleep. I gotta be quiet when I sleep, you know. Well, just by chance, if this film is ever showed, and by chance I pass away or something happens to me that you show this, I want to let you all know, my whole family, that I love you all. Every night when I say my prayer, if you go right now in my bed, I have the rosary. And I say my rosary in bed before I fall asleep. And I pray for all my whole family, that they're good health and they're able to make a living to support each other and respect each other. And God bless you all.